Hello, and welcome to California Baptist University, at least virtually. I'm excited to tell you a little bit about our university and life in Southern California, and then a little bit about the financial aid and scholarships that are available at CBU. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. There we go. Atian, welcome. Thanks for being here. I'm going to go ahead and tell you a little bit about California Baptist University, life in Southern California, and some of the financial aid and scholarships that are available towards the end of this presentation. So California Baptist University is a comprehensive university located in Riverside. So Riverside's right in the middle of Southern California, and it is the perfect location in my opinion, because there's a lot of great parts about Riverside. This is a bird's eye view. There's a lot of things local to us. I'm a big coffee fan, especially craft coffee. So Arcade Coffee Shop is actually ranked sixth best by Food and Wine in the US. So it is definitely a popular coffee shop for our students. We're also home to the Citrus Park. So in the spring, it smells wonderful. We have historic architecture like the Mission Inn, for example. And then right next door to that is the Food Lab, where students can get food from all around the world. There's Mediterranean, ramen, pizza, Nashville hot chicken, a vegan burger place, lots of different options for students to choose from when you and your friends aren't sure what you want to eat. And of course, Southern California is home to so many great attractions. Disneyland is a popular one. Many of our students will get passes and go on the weekend. Our university will sell discounted tickets to undergrad students. Our international center will go together to Disneyland, Universal Studios, Knott's Berry Farm. We'll also take trips to the beach. Santa Monica and the pier are very popular, but there's quite a few beaches around us in Southern California. We're also very close to Los Angeles, and so students will go there for art museums, food, or even to catch a sporting event at the Staples Center, which is actually now called the Crypto.com Center. And you can see a Lakers game or a Clippers game. We can also go to an LA Galaxy soccer game. Lots of fun opportunities in Southern California. And then if we head about 45 minutes in the other direction from CBU, we're actually close to the mountains. So students can ski, snowboard, hike, lots of different opportunities for them. So we believe that CBU in Riverside is in the perfect location to take advantage of everything that Southern California has to offer. And at CBU, we want to help you do that. But now I'm going to zoom in on our university specifically. And we know that as you are choosing a college or a school for a graduate program, there's a lot of choices. And so we want you to know that at CBU, we have things built in for you to succeed academically, socially, to feel like you're part of something bigger than yourself. And there's a few reasons for that. One, CBU has a lot of institutional momentum right now. What we mean is that CBU is getting bigger and faster and stronger at everything that we do, while at the same time keeping that small school feel and remaining student centric, meaning students are at the center of everything that we do. And one of the ways that we do that is by having a large or wide academic breadth. There are a lot of options for you to study and mix and match your degree to make it personalized to you. First of all, our size is also perfect. We have just over 11,000 total students, and of that, about 300 international students from over 50 different countries. So it feels like a small international family inside of this bigger campus community. We think it's the perfect size because it's not too big where you get lost in the crowd and you don't know anyone, but it's also not too small where you feel like you only see the same faces every day. It's a perfect mix of a new face and an old face every day. And then all of our degrees are WASC accredited, meaning that your degree is verifiable in any country that you go to after the US. Whether you want to continue working a little bit in the US, return to Canada, or go elsewhere in the world, you'll be able to verify your degree and have a degree that's important, valuable for future employers. Now, in terms of the academics, one of the ways that we benefit our students is by having a large opportunity of students, programs for students to study. So we have over 80 undergraduate programs. Some popular ones are, of course, business programs, including international business, biomedical sciences, which is our pre-med program, especially for Canadian students looking to do US med schools. We have over a 90% placement rate into US med schools, which is incredibly high. That data is from the pre-pandemic, The pandemic sort of changed the timing at which students were applying to US med schools. So we're waiting on that data, but we have no reason to believe that our students aren't still just as successful into getting to US med schools. Engineering is also incredibly popular. We have 9 different undergraduate majors and 1 master's engineering program to choose from. But with all of them, for our undergraduate programs, they're 4-year degrees where you have an internship built in. So guaranteed US work experience in between your 3rd and 4th year before you graduate. So you are graduating with US work experience in just 4 years. A lot of top engineering programs in the US are 5 years where there's a semester or 2 semesters built in of an internship. But at CBU, we want to save you that time and money, get you out in 4 years, but still get you that internship. And so we do that all together in 4 years. And we have a 95% placement rate into full-time jobs for our engineers, which is incredible. That means that you're almost guaranteed a US job. Of course, you have to do the work, but if you work hard and put in the time and effort, you're going to be successful. We also have art and design programs, including architecture. So if you're looking for a 5-year degree where you can get a bachelor's and a master's in architecture, on the West Coast, there's really just one option. We're the top program. We also have graphic design, photography. There's also health sciences, music, lots of opportunities for our students to study. In general, though, about 80% of our faculty have the top degree in their field. So you're learning from experts. And while you have access to TAs and tutors, just like at every other school, at CBU, our student to faculty ratio is actually 19-1. So you really get some personal time with your faculty, with those experts in the field. You get to use their network to help you find internships and future jobs. And now, actually now 40 of our programs are STEM programs, meaning they're science, technology, engineering, or mathematics. But why that's important for you is because according to the US government, if a program is STEM designated, then the optional practical training or US work experience you get when you graduate can actually be 3 years instead of 1 year. But across the board for all of our programs, our international students at an 89% are getting OPT. That means essentially 9 out of 10 international students have a full-time job when they graduate. That's incredible. That's also well above the average. And there's a few reasons for that I'm going to touch on in a bit. Now, many students have such a great experience in their undergraduate career that they want to stay on and do a master's program at CBU as well. That's what I did. I did my undergraduate degree at CBU in mathematics, and I minored in chemistry and Christian studies, really got to personalize my degree. And then I stayed at CBU and did my master's in applied mathematics for another 2 years while I worked on campus as a part-time staff member. So I loved my CBU experience. I've loved being here for about a decade now, first as a student and now as a staff member, and getting to tell other students about CBU. But as we mentioned before, there's a master in engineering, there's business programs that are quite popular, including the MBA and information technology management, which is a 1-year degree, but it's STEM, so it's 3 years of OPT or work experience when you graduate full time. So that's an incredible benefit to our students. We do have the master's track of architecture in case you did your bachelor's elsewhere. We have health sciences, a full nursing program, many behavioral sciences for psychology, counseling, social work. Industrial organizational psychology is very popular because it's also now STEM designated just as of a month ago, according to the US government. So again, it's a 1.5 year to 2 year program and then 3 years of US work experience. So fantastic graduate and doctoral programs for our students. Now, one of the reasons why our international students and all students are so successful, whether it's engineering or just in general, the reason why we have a 9 out of 10 OPT rate is because of our Career Center in large part. So our Career Center will do practice interviews to help you learn how to do an interview in the professional world, in the US professional world. They'll bring employers on campus for career fairs. A lot of the times there's on-the-spot job interviews or internship interviews. They'll help you with your LinkedIn and your resume. LinkedIn is kind of like social media, but for your resume. They even have a professional closet where you can borrow clothing for interviews, look good, and then once you're done and you've earned the job, return the clothing. It's a fantastic resource for all of our students. Now, in particular, you'll see this little icon at the bottom, Inner Stride. This is an application that all students get for free at CBU, but we got it with our international students in mind because you can search for jobs anywhere in the US or anywhere in the world to see where you might find a job opportunity and apply directly through there. There's also visa training and advising through that platform. And it even shows you top US companies that are sponsoring things like work visas in case after or during your OPT experience, you decide you want to work a little bit longer at the company you're at in the US. And to do that, you're going to need to have a work visa instead of a student visa. Now, that was a lot about academics and professional preparation, but we know that much of the college experience happens outside the classroom. And in fact, the better you do outside the classroom, studies show the better you're going to do inside the classroom. So I'm excited to tell you about all the resources and opportunities that CBU has for students who are on campus and part of the campus community. So first off is our International Student Services team. They do many things like advising for your visa. Where can you work? When can you work? Who's able to work off campus and when? What do I need before I travel to help you understand all of that? You'll meet them all at the international orientation, which we call international welcome at the beginning of the year, which will include things like where do I shop? Where do I get a US bank account, US phone number, things like that. Although if you're coming from Canada, you might just choose to keep your Canadian number. And then, of course, we're going to do a ton of events on campus, including cultural events through the International Center that will include things like this event. This is the Festival of Color. It's from the Indian holiday Holi, and it's a ton of fun. We all get bags of colored powder, and on the count of 10, we throw colored powder in the air and have the color war. So it's kind of like the color run, but without the running, which in my opinion is fantastic. I would rather not run. And so this just turns into a giant festival and party that our Indian students love presenting their culture at and dancing and sharing their music and food with us. It's a fantastic event for all of our students. And then, of course, we're going to take you to explore Southern California, just like those trips that we talked about at the beginning of the presentation. Now, in terms of the activities and events on and off campus, Community Life is an office you really want to know about because they organize many of these off campus and on campus events. So, off campus, there's trips like kayaking, taking pictures at a wildlife reserve, camping at Zion. One of my favorite events that we did was we actually took a few years ago students. We flew them to Portland, Oregon, another state in the US, tried 5 of the best coffee shops, and then flew back all in the same day. That is an event that I would love to chaperone the next time we do that. On campus, there's lots of activities, including sports. I was a big sports fan. I played high school basketball. So when I got to CBU, I participated in intramural sports, and there's different seasons. I did the basketball season competitively, and for fun, in a non-competitive league, I did the soccer season because I wasn't very good. I've only scored 1 goal my entire career, and it was an own goal. I scored on my own keeper. So not my best. But our international center actually has an international team for soccer, and we tend to do pretty well since soccer is one of the biggest sports around the world, or more properly said, football. We also have a recreation center. It's completely free for enrolled students, staff, and faculty. So you can see a basketball court. There's an upstairs with bikes and the jungle gym workout center. There's free weights, cardio machines, racquetball courts. There's free personal training, group training, and it's completely free for our students. So it's definitely a resource that we recommend students take advantage of for healthy living while they're here at CBU. There's even a turf soccer field on the roof. And then there's about 70 clubs on campus that range from serious academic clubs like this one. This is the SAE race car. So a lot of our engineers participate in this club because they build their own race car and it gets ranked and they race it. And then there's also more fun or recreational clubs. For example, one of my favorite clubs, and it was the biggest club in CBU's history, was the Super Mario Kart Club. So they would all just get together, have this big blow up screen, and they would game. It was fantastic to see that many students get together and be part of that club. And then we have about 3 to 5 events on campus every week, ranging from residence life events, campus-wide events, international events. This one is Midnight Madness. So it's like our kickoff event for the basketball season. So it's fun. They have a dunk contest, 3-point contest. We give out free stuff. Everyone gets these glow sticks. It's a fantastic time. And then lastly, a big part of the campus community is living on campus. Now, we have plenty of students who do choose to commute to campus who live in the area, but we highly recommend living on campus because we're actually now ranked number 2 for the best college dorms in California by niche.com. Niche.com is student ranked data. So we have a lot of confidence that our students love living on campus. In fact, according to Niche, our campus is also ranked number 2 for the best college campus in California and 5th in the entire US. So we're very proud of our campus and our campus housing. In terms of the options, there's things to choose from your first year and then apartment styles after your first year. So the village are small apartments with about 3 to 4 to a room, but we put multiple apartments together so you get to know more than just a few people your first year. I lived in Smith my first year. It's our boys' dorm, and Simmons is our girls' dorm. I think the best sense of community happens there because you get to know 20 different people on your hall your first year. It's a lot of craziness, it's a lot of fun. Students will take late night runs to get food. They'll play ping pong in the lobby, board games, and you get to know a lot of people your first year. My current best friends I actually met in Smith Hall my freshman year 10 years ago, and we're still best friends today. So I highly recommend this living option. The cottages are unique because they're small houses where you get to know about 9 to 10 other people in your house. Tower Hall are apartment style, but each apartment is actually on a dorm room hall. So it's kind of like you're taking an apartment and a dorm room and mixing it together so that you get to know more than just a couple people your first year. After your first year, you get to choose from one of the many options for apartments on campus. The Colony is where I lived for 2 years. I loved it. It's our largest set of options. UP actually has men's and women's, and they're next to the front lawn and also the College of Nursing. So many of our nurses choose to live there. College Park is catty cornered to the College of Nursing and Architecture. So a lot of nurses and architects. And then Lancer Arms is actually where the International Center is located, but behind us is where the rest of our apartments are. You'll see that it has some old architecture. All of the apartments are newly renovated, but we kept that old school feel for the architecture on the outside. So it's a fun place to be. And then the Point has its own pool. They have this beach luau theme. Magnolia Crossing is our last and newest option. It was built just before the pandemic when everyone globally moved online. So it's hardly gotten any use and it's basically brand new. It's definitely fantastic apartments to choose from. In general, though, no matter where you choose to live, while you're on campus, you're going to be safe. This is a safe campus community. We have blue emergency call boxes all around campus with 24-hour surveillance. So if you ever just wanted an officer to escort you from class to your apartment at night because it's late and you just got out of class, you're by yourself, and you just want to feel more comfortable, you could press that button and one of them will come over on a golf cart and escort you to your apartment. Though you are definitely perfectly safe to just walk back to your apartment at night because it is a safe campus. And then our entrances are guarded regularly for both of our main entrances, including in the evening. And as I mentioned before, a lot of our students do choose to live off campus. And I have good news for them and for all students. CBU students actually get to ride the bus in Riverside for free. And that's good news because on our main road, there's a shopping mall, movie theater, restaurants on either side of us, about 1 mile or 2 kilometers, give or take. And so students will just take that main bus in between those fun opportunities on the weekends. And then we have different activities and lounges built for our commuter students so they can rest while they're on campus between classes. Now, one of the best things to do in between classes is to eat on campus. And for me, that was one of my biggest decisions to come into CBU. And that is because we are actually ranked number 2 for the best food in California. And again, number 5 in the entire US. So number 2 for campus and food in California and 5th in the US for food and campus. My favorite option is El Monte Grill. It's rice, meat, beans, vegetables. I think it's fantastic, but The Habit is a popular burger place, Chick-fil-A for chicken sandwiches. Shake Smart has like acai bowls and protein shakes. And then the Alumni Dining Commons is actually buffet style, where you can get waffles, ice cream, salad bar, fruit bar, and many different options at breakfast, lunch, or dinner. So you definitely eat well while you're on CBU's campus. This is Foodology. It's actually located on our health science campus so that you have easy access to that between those health science classes. They actually make their own Parmesan cheese crusted potato chips. I can't eat them because of dairy, but I've heard they are fantastic. And so many of our students really like that option as well. And then the last big part of life at CBU is our athletics. We are ranked NCAA Division I, which means we're part of the highest athletic division in the US, and we're in the Western Athletic Conference. So we have over 20 different sports teams, and they are quite good. We're proud of going to support them because, quite honestly, they're winning a lot, and it's more fun to support teams that are winning. And our men's and women's basketball and our women's volleyball, they play in the event center, which is where we like to say a lot of the fun happens. This is a pregame event before our parent and family basketball game, where parents and families are coming in from the community to go to a basketball game and support our team. So inside the event center, like I said, is where the fun happens. So I want to show you a video that lets you see some of the social life and activities that takes place at CBU, because let's be honest, it's more fun to see it and hear it than to just have me tell you about it. So as you can see, there's so much going on at CBU and in Southern California. So no matter what you're interested in, you're going to find people that have those similar interests that you'll just naturally build relationships and friendships with. We want you to leave CBU saying that one of the best parts of it was the community that you built there. So we are never going to just put you in an awkward circle and say, hey, everyone, be friends. Instead, we're going to have so much programming and events and fun activities that you just go to the things that naturally interest you, and you'll meet other people who have those same interests. And that is how natural organic relationships get started. So that's what it looks like to be a Lancer at CBU. I'm going to transition and tell you about some of the logistics and finances of becoming a Lancer. I know many of you attended this because you wanted to learn about financial aid. And while not every university has aid for international students, or maybe they have a higher cost for international students, at CBU, not only do we have the same cost, but we also have financial aid specifically for international students, because we want to do what we can to make CBU financially feasible for many of our international students, because we know it can be. It may not be for everyone, but there are many who can make CBU more reasonable in terms of cost because of the aid that we offer. So I'm going to start with first year freshman academic scholarships at CBU. So if you have graduated high school and you have less than a year of college under your belt, this is the scholarships that are available to you. So if you have a 3.5 US GPA or higher, then you will automatically qualify for $12,000. You don't even need to apply for this. It'll just automatically be considered when you apply, as long as you have language proficiency and your official transcripts and online application, which I'll cover in a little bit. If you don't have quite a 3.5, you have a little bit less than that, then you could still qualify for a scholarship of $9,000 with our diplomats scholarship. If you're not sure, does my transcripts show a US GPA in those ranges? Do I qualify for one of those? You can just send me an unofficial transcript, meaning even just a picture, and I can give you an idea by calculating it on my side if you would qualify for one of these if you chose to apply and send those official transcripts. Just as a clarification, you get one or the other. If you have above a 3.5, you don't get both, you just get the bigger one. So those are our first-time freshman scholarships. After that, we have many other scholarships available. So depending on your major, you can apply for an additional scholarship based on what you're studying. So if you're in the engineering program or architecture, film, journalism, graphic design, public relations, any of these majors on the screen, you can apply for a second additional scholarship on top of your academic scholarship. There's also departmental scholarships, meaning if you're participating in athletics, drama, music, speech and debate, even if you're not majoring in one of those things related to that, you can still get this scholarship as well. So you can stack the academic scholarship, major scholarship, and a departmental scholarship. And then there's another option for you. We have a need-based grant called the Global Initiatives Grant for up to $10,000 per year. And that is based on financial need to help you close the gap in meeting the I20 financial requirement. Now, what is the I20 financial requirement? There is this number of total funds you have to show in the first year to demonstrate to the US government that you are going to be safe and healthy and comfortable to not just pay for school, but also cover estimated living expenses, which even goes beyond what you might pay to the university. So to see what that amount is, for this academic year, the tuition for a full year is $34,918. Now, to reassure you, that's the same for an American student and an international student. And then there are fees, that's $5,300 for the year. That covers your health insurance, which is required for international students. And then it also includes a $300 international student fee. That is the only difference or increase for international students at CBU. It's a $300 fee per semester, and that covers the support you get from my office and the International Center. And then the housing and meal plan for about 2 meals per day is $12,270. You can choose a smaller meal plan, so you're actually paying CBU less. Maybe you're cooking more, you just have cereal for breakfast. That's definitely what a lot of our students do. But the US government needs to know that you have enough, whether you're paying CBU or elsewhere, to cover the vast majority of your meals. And then miscellaneous living expenses include like textbooks, toothbrush, toothpaste, things like that. And that's about $3,700. Again, you may not pay any of that to CBU, but it's still required for the I-20. So the total I-20 requirement for most programs is $56,188. Programs like architecture, nursing, engineering might have an additional program fee for some of the special resources you have access to, and that would just be added right on top as well. Now, I know that seems like a big alarming number, but that doesn't include any of the financial aid yet. So if you got the ambassador scholarship, you would automatically reduce this number by 12,000. If you got the global initiatives grant for 6, 8, 10,000, you would reduce that amount too. A major scholarship from engineering, you reduce that amount as well. So all that aid can help bring that total number down. For graduate students, those of you that are looking at a master's or doctoral program, the tuition and fees vary by program. So some programs are as little as $15,000 for a full year, like our applied math program. That's what I did. And some are as large as $59,000, like our master's in nursing programs or our PA programs. Some of these more unit-filled programs where there's a lot of classes in them. And then living expenses range for how long your program is. So if you're in a program that's just in the fall and the spring, like applied math, then it's just $12,700 in living expenses that you have to show. If you're in many of our grad programs like MBA, information technology management, and some of these other masters, it includes a summer semester, so you have to show $19,050. So you would find your total I-20 requirement by adding together the tuition and fees and the living expenses to find that total. Now, if you're a graduate student, I have good news. While there's almost no scholarships in financial aid for Americans or international students looking for graduate programs, we do have that same global initiatives grant for up to 10,000. You can apply for that as well to help you cover the costs of studying and living in your MBA or math program, engineering, counseling, psychology, education. You can help cover that cost with that grant as well. Another great way that students help pay for future years at CBU is through on-campus jobs. We have over 700 jobs on campus, and the minimum wage in California is $15 per hour. So if you can work up to 20 hours per week based on your visa status while classes are in session, then in a fall and spring, you can make over $9,000. And if you have a summer and you work through the summer, over $13,000. So that is a fantastic news for our students because you can help work throughout the year to pay for things like textbooks, miscellaneous costs, and save up for your next semester payment and help bring that cost down. Now, if you're wondering, do I have to send language scores? If you are a Canadian citizen and you graduated from a Canadian school that was taught in English, not French, then you're automatically waived and you don't need to send a language score. But if you have a different country of citizenship, you didn't grow up in Canada, you didn't do school in Canada, then here are the language scores you can send. Now, we do have our own intensive English program for students who do want to study and strengthen their academic English in the US, and we're quite proud of our program because all of our IEP students, our intensive English program students, are full parts of our campus. But you can also send one of these scores. So if you're an undergrad student, you can send a TOEFL of 71 or higher, IELTS 5.5, PTE 48, Duolingo 105, SAT, the English section 430, ACT's English section 16, Cambridge. You can send one of these scores to just test out of the intensive English program and scoot right along to your main degree program. And the scores are listed there for grad and doctoral as well. But once again, if you're a Canadian citizen, you've done schooling in Canada in English, then this would automatically be waived for you. The last thing to talk about is what to do next. If you've heard about CBU so far and you thought, you know, that's at least one other option that I would want to consider applying to for an undergrad or graduate program, or even just the language training, then I would encourage you to apply. It can't hurt. So the application is found on calbaptist.edu/apply. And the online application will include an essay, information about you, and then a $45 fee. But because you came to this session, I'm actually going to waive that fee. If you're watching this later, you can feel free to contact me and I'm happy to provide this code for you. I'm putting the code in the chat now for those of you in attendance. That promotional code will waive the $45 application fee through CBU's website. And then after you submit that online application, that is when you'll want to send official transcripts. Test scores are optional, like we talked about, like language scores or SAT, ACT. Those are optional, but if you have them, feel free to send them along as well. And then the financial documents where you show available funds, that actually isn't required for admission. It's only required to get that I-20. Now, some of you might still be asking, what is an I-20? To study in the US as an international student, you need this document called an I-20 because that's what you use to apply for a student visa. Now, for Canadians, because the US and Canada has such a great relationship, you actually don't even need to apply for a student visa. You just need this I-20 and your passport, and that's what you'll enter the country on when it's time to study. So to get that I-20, you need two things, both things. You need to be accepted to the university and you need to be financially cleared by showing those sufficient funds between your financial aid, family funds, educational loans. Loans through the Canadian government are quite common for students studying in the US. All of those things can be added together to show funds for that I-20 as we talked about before. If you're a graduate student, maybe you're looking at the MBA or ITM or another master's program or doctoral program, it's the same link. You would just click the graduate application. There's still an online application with a fee. That same promotional code will work to waive the fee. But when you submit it, then you'll move on to part 2, where you still will send official transcripts and optional test scores, but things like a personal statement, a resume, 2 to 3 recommendations might be needed depending on your program. Just so you know, there's only a couple programs that require a GRE at CBU, and that is our PA program and our PsyD, or our doctoral clinical psychology program. Outside of those, the GRE is optional or not required. but it can be used if you have maybe a lower GPA to help overcome that lower GPA and help you still be admissible at CBU. And then once again, the financial documents are only needed for the I-20. You don't have to submit that in order to be accepted. You can do that after you've been accepted and find out about financial aid if you would like. So I want to thank you for taking the time to learn about what life can be like in Southern California, specifically at CBU and the opportunities that we provide for you, and then also about financial aid. Now, many of the universities at this fair here in Canada virtually have financial aid, but not all do. So you definitely want to look into that. And at CBU, we have quite a bit of financial aid available for our international students because we want to do what we can to make CBU financially feasible for many. We know that many international students and Canadians want to study in Southern California, so we want to do what we can to make that possible. So if you have additional questions, I would encourage you, send me a message on iMessage or WhatsApp, email, whatever is preferable to you. I'm going to go ahead now and put my mobile number in the chat so you can jot that down. You can also chat with me if you're still here at the fair while you're viewing this. But this mobile number works on iMessage, text, and WhatsApp. So feel free to contact me that way as well. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing now. And then I'm going to end the recording